I don't think you remember what it's like to be a baby, so why don't we just do the generic, oh, it must have been nice to have someone clean your messes, feed you, and put you to sleep. I'm sure you never thought about other people or other things. You were mainly just focused on developing your brain in one way or another. I don't think you ever wondered to yourself if you were a good person. Then you grew up a bit, and you were a kid. That was really fun, wasn't it? You were old enough to understand, but not old enough to understand. Do you know what I mean? You paid no attention to the difficulty your parents had living together, no attention to the fact that the car they drove was one wheel on the road and one wheel in the auto shop at all times. It was great. Play all day, not a care in the world. But there were too many restrictions. I can't wait to grow up, you said to yourself. I think the only time you ever wondered if you were a good person was if you traded your Dunkaroos for a cookie. And then you grew up a bit more and suddenly the angst set in. You're a teenager now. For a while it was fun, enjoying all those new freedoms and activities. But then it got old. You got tired of it. Arguments, drama, friends falling out and in every which way, and suddenly you began to understand much more. You understood why your parents decided to split up, and you understood why your mom told you walk to school day was every day. And all this time you thought to yourself, I can't wait until I'm in my 20s. And here's where you really started wondering if you were a good person. You decided to settle on a yes, but you didn't know why. I'm sure the time felt like it was an eternity. Oh, what's that? Where did your 20s go? Probably in a flash. You know, it's right around this time where life starts to speed up anyways. Don't worry, I'll fill you in. You got your first semi-real job, had your first steady relationship, finished school for good. Oh, were you expecting more? Don't be so upset. You really couldn't expect to have it like it was in the movies. By this time you probably understood much more. You like to talk about politics and religion, and your tattoos told you you were a good person. That one said peace in Latin, and that one said love in Greek. You thought your 20s went fast. Wow, your 30s were just a blur. You got married, you had a kid, another one a bit after that. You rent your house for now. There's no way you could afford one in this economy. And when you ask yourself if you're a good person, you say, yes, of course. I sponsor a kid in Africa, don't you know? What's his name? Was it Richard or Rick? No, that's far too white. It must be Addo. You're 60 now, thinking about retirement. You've noticed your health start to deteriorate. Your kids have all grown up. One of them is a banker, the other one is unemployed and selling drugs on the street. You don't really mind. As long as he's happy, you say to yourself. That's what makes you a good person after all. You think to yourself, I've come to understand much more about this world. And maybe you do, but maybe you don't. You find yourself disagreeing with the youth these days, but...
Are you a good person?
No, you don't really want to think about that. Anyways, what was I saying? You...
Are you a good person?
Oh, come on, put it off for now. You really shouldn't think about that.
Are you a good person?
I don't know, you tell me. You're 80 now, you've got one foot in the grave and one in the hospital, just like your old car.
Are you a good person? What have you done? Have you wronged anyone?
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. You haven't done much, have you? Now I know you haven't wronged anyone, and I know you paid your bills. You didn't cheat, lie, or steal, and you sponsored that kid in Africa. I hear he's a lawyer in Ghana now, but...
Are you a good person?
I'm not so sure. Don't you think that's up for you to decide?
Were you a good person?
I think so. I think I was. I think I lived a good life.
Were you a good person?
I'm not sure. I really can't be sure. There's so much I could have done.
Were you a good person?
No, I wasn't. I wasn't a good person.
Are you sure? Weren't you a good person?
I don't know. I think I was. Yes, I was, wasn't I?
Were you a good person?
No, I wasn't. I wasn't that great of a person.
Were you a good person?
I'm not sure. I think I was a good person, but I can't be sure, can I?